Everybody that's actually in education knows that logic is not all. Our intelligence is emotional, kinesthetic, musical, social. Have you seen a machine that has emotional intelligence? No, and we probably wouldn't want to. So it's very important for us to think about where that is going and what's happening. Most importantly, we have an exponential world. The world is exploding with possibilities. The world is basically ramping up, not step by step, but leaping. You heard about Moore's law, Metcalfe's law, Wright's law, Gerd's law, right? I mean, the mind-boggling change that we're seeing now is we're at level 4 on this curve. The next step is not 5, it's 8, 16, 32. In 10 years, our world is going to be 256 times as fast as today. Right? I mean, we're talking about ChatGPT 4, maybe ChatGPT 10 will have an IQ of 1 billion. So we are leaping, right? And we're seeing technology basically, those kinds of 4 technologies. We have to understand what this means. Exponential science, technology, exponential challenges. And I think that really means for us in the end, as we're moving to that future I described yesterday, the 3 revolutions, the digital revolution, the sustainability revolution, and the purpose revolution. We have to embrace this. And this is going to be a very steep learning curve. I mean, it's basically all that stuff happening at the same time. In the next 10 years, we're going to say goodbye to oil and gas. I mean, this is a very big deal for Kazakhstan, right? We're going to move to a sustainable economy. We're going to question things that were automatic before. And here's the biggest question that we have to answer in education and jobs. We're going away from the simple objective of profit and growth, which is killing us, right, to people, planet, purpose, and prosperity. The stock markets are changing, companies are changing. If you're in the oil and gas business in 2030, it's almost going to be like you're in a criminal activity, right? A crime against the planet. And this is already quite obviously here. We're just seeing this accelerated. So what do we have to teach our kids and ourselves is how to deal with this. I mean, this is the biggest shift since, traditional sort of capitalism, market economy, Milton Friedman, the last 50 years. Now, all of a sudden, the companies are saying, we need to make sure that we make a profit, plus care for our people, plus care for the planet. And this is what millennials, young people, many of them here in this room, welcome to all of you, especially women, between 25 and 45, they're asking for this. They want a life not just with profit and growth. And of course, that's a tall order. It's the biggest shift ever. E.O. Wilson, one of the biggest futurists and conservationists that you can imagine, he came up with this idea saying, okay, basically what we have now is we have to think about this. We have Paleolithic, Stone Age emotions as humans, right? We have medieval institutions, and he's talking about education here, right? And we have godlike technology. And that is it's a great mix for disaster. So we need to tackle medieval institutions. Right? We have to tackle the way that we educate people, and it's quite clear, as the world is going essentially upside down, right? We're no longer in the simple world of the 80s, America and Russia, the 2 poles. Now we have a multipolar world, right? Europe, America, Russia, China, India, Brazil, right? It's confusing. The world is upside down, and here's the bottom line. Traditional education is totally unfit for this world. That's sad. Because, we're here and we're saying, okay, I learned all these things in business school. I didn't go to business school, I went to music school, but still, if I had learned all these things, all of a sudden I'm coming out into the real world. The real world is upside down. Like everything I learned is no longer really true. Everything has changed. In the military, they call this VUCA, right? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And there's no way that we can change this. The only thing we can do is react differently. Right. Velocity, speed, unorthodoxy, creativity, co-creation, and awesomeness, right? To create really powerful ideas. And this is what our kids have to learn. This is what we have to learn. I'm 62 years old. I reinvented my job 3 or 4 times. I didn't want to. Nobody wants to. Right? It was clear to me that my old way of doing things wasn't working. So we have to act like this, and this is what we have to teach our students. Right? Be fast, be unorthodox, ask questions, be a pain, be a genius, be awesome. Of course, that's a very American idea, right? I mean, I live in Switzerland, but I studied in America. You know, it's easier in America to be awesome because you have more space to, present yourself. But I think this is a real challenge as we're going into this future. Humans and machines are going to get closer and closer and closer. IBM Watson can memorize Wikipedia in less than 2 minutes. And you can ask any question to IBM Watson from Wikipedia or from anywhere else. You get an instant answer. A machine like this can read all of the books about philosophy in all languages in less than 1 minute. But if I ask the machine a philosophical question, what is the purpose of life, for example, as we like to ask Siri, are you going to get a useful answer? No, because the machine isn't a philosopher just because it has memorized the text. Right? That is called meaning. Right? Meaning to humans is completely, this is what we want. Meaningful food, meaningful relationships, meaningful things. Right? We don't just want the plain context. And so it's really quite clear we're looking at a work and education reboot. In 20 years, we may not need to work as much or at all, called the Star Trek society. Right? In 20 years, we may be in a world where most of the heavy work is done by machines. And then we have to ask the question, well, who's going to get paid for what? Like in my life, probably most of yours, work is a very central thing. It's important. In 20 years, work will not be as important. You already have in France the 4-day work week being discussed. And are we going to see a basic income? I mean, these are very big questions for the next 20 years. Clearly, in a world that has this, an intelligent genie that I can ask, even without internet, that's now the next thing. Right? You can actually ask questions. You don't have to have a mobile phone. You can have a button on your suit. Say, hey, I need to get married. Who should I talk to? Whatever your question might be. So basically, here's our challenge. We thought, as the minister was saying, that being great with science, technology, engineering, math, all problems solved. That is no longer true. Of course we need science, technology, and engineering and math, but this is not the key to a future where the robots can do engineering. I mean, of course, that you have already apps writing applications, making software programs, translating things for us. Can a robot be an engineer? Well, some of it, when it's done in the cloud. Now we have pharma companies who are putting basically recipes for new medication in the cloud and testing what's called cloud biology to be much faster with real-life biology for medications. So you can cut down development of new drugs from 5 years to 1 year and half the price. I mean, this is happening all left and right. So in my last book, I talked a lot about what I call HECI: humanity, ethics, creativity, imagination. The opposite of STEM. And yes, if you're Einstein, you will probably have quite a bit of HECI already. But the idea of saying that all you need is a STEM education and ethics, humanity, that comes later, it's a very bad idea. Unless you're a genius. It doesn't happen. We need to combine those two things. Every engineer should have a course in ethics. Every ethics person should know how to program. We need to cross-pollinate those two things because in the end, program-based learning, problem-based learning, that's the future. Not memorizing stuff and taking it out later like a machine. This is what machines do. Keep in mind, efficiency is for robots. That's what robots do the best. You're looking to be efficient, you're looking to be a robot. Of course, we need efficiency, it's just part of our lives. So we have to learn how to balance the EQ the emotional quotient, the being with the IQ. If you are pursuing IQ, that's fantastic, but it will not solve the problem because machines have IQ. In 5 years, 10 years, we may be at the point of what's called the singularity, where machines have a higher IQ than all of humanity combined. That's not far-fetched. We're going to beat them on IQ, on logic? No. So let's think about this for a second, what that means for us as we're moving up this pyramid I showed yesterday. We have to be aware of this. Machines are going to take the lower part of this pyramid. Data, information, intellectual knowledge, that's machine turf. And yes, of course, we need to also do that. I mean, I pride myself on my knowledge. Is it going to save the day, my knowledge about? No. I mean, you could easily Google or ChatGPT anything I have said and find a better answer. Right? What's good about the work that I do, I hope, is understanding. You know, when your kids come home from school and they come into your house and your son explains how he missed the bus and what kind of grades he have, that's called data and information. If he doesn't say anything, and he's like 13 years old, he just sits there smiling stupidly, then you know he's fallen in love for the first time in his life. Right? Didn't say anything about it, but you understand. Right? That's called understanding. Understanding, wisdom, purpose, consciousness. That's what we go to school for. We don't go to school for the information. I mean, come on. You know, any information I want, I can find out now instantly. I can instantly make a movie about anything using ChatGPT or, you know, HeyGen and all that stuff that's out there. Let's focus on the human turf. That's what science and technology is all about, to emphasize those two things. So as we move into that future, we have to go beyond knowledge. This is probably not a new message, I hope. Yes, we need knowledge, but let's not pursue knowledge as the answer for everything. It's about the next step above the knowledge. Feeling, emotions, understanding, intuition. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, he said he looks at everything with great focus group studies and so on, but in the end, he decides everything he wants to do based on his intuition. That's how he launched the Amazon Kindle, which now owns the publishing market. He spent $2.7 billion with an idea that nobody understood, nobody wanted, nobody cared about. So that's the human job. And we also have to be aware that every routine that can be digitized will be. Now there's a question which routines those are. Hard to say. Driving a car? We can do that in San Francisco now. It's quite a mess. It's kind of working, but people don't really like it, the people who live there. But you know, many routines, we think of routines are very simple, like flying an airplane is a routine, and we could replace the pilot with a machine. It's possible. Right? But why? We're talking about one human. You know, we're not talking about 50 pilots on the airplane. It's just not a big deal to replace the pilot, and we need the pilot for other things. Right? Like, for example, a robot can drive a car, maybe, or fly an airplane, but it can't fix the toilet. Why is that? Because, you know, it's narrow, it's complicated. Right? So now we have special toilets for robots that get fixed by robots at the airport in Singapore. So here's a good message for you. The end of routine is not the end of work. It's the end of routine. So you're going to use a robot, a software robot, to automate a task, to schedule a meeting, to find due diligence, to check on documents, you know, all monkey work, basically, right? All of us do monkey work. Let the machine do the monkey work. As long as the machine doesn't decide what is important and what the truth is, you know, that's really my job. So that's not the end of human work. We're really moving to a world. This example shows it greatly. It's an app by Expedia. This is what people used to do in travel agencies. You go there and you say, I want to go to Hawaii. I don't have much money, and they would find ideas for you. Now you can do this on Expedia, on their app, using AI. So you can type in what you want. You can type, I mean, it's a bad example with Maui right now, obviously, because you know, Maui is probably a difficult place right now. It's about 3 months old. But this is the machine does the job of the travel agency. And then you click and say, please make portfolio buy, right? If that's what you want. That's what machines used to do. So now we're replacing that routine, thinking of it in entirely different ways. Now we're getting to the point where that is becoming clearly something that's everywhere. And we're looking at the statistics here. 18% of work could be automated by AI. Okay, this is kind of a shock, right? But the emphasis on could be. And it's not the work, it's the routine. If your routine is 50% of your work, that gets automated. What do? Well, you can take more time off. You can practice other things. You can find new jobs. You can be lazy, maybe. Right? If your job is 90% routine, call center, hello, change your flight, that's finished. But even there, the 10%, who's going to do the 10%? The Gucci call center. Right? People don't want to speak to a robot. They want to speak to a person. Right? Or checkout in the supermarket. Yes, you can automate the scanning. But in many small supermarkets, the person at the cash register is the local connector. Is a person that talks to you. It's very important for old people, for example. You don't want to replace that. This is why they come in shopping, right? Because they're still a person. So I think the simple question really in the end is this, as we're looking at this statistic, this shows that innovation has always led to more work in the past. When we look at the curve here, professionals, they have gained the most from all the technological innovation. We talked about 10 years ago how radiologists that scan your body for, with MRI scans, and they would become useless because the machine can do the scanning. And the AI can look up what you have. That's probably kind of true, but we don't trust it. We trust the doctor. Right? So the doctor uses the AI to be quicker. Now, we still have people starting to be all this. So I always say it could be heaven or it could be hell. What we need here is policy to support retraining, to support creation of new jobs, to support, for example, hundreds of thousands of jobs in the green economy, to move over to actually have people see the new jobs and take the opportunity. Everyone is creative, even the taxi driver, and is a creative person, but of course they stop thinking about it driving a taxi, probably. Right? But we can bring that back. We can bring that back in new jobs. Here's the bottom line, I think, for work and education. You work like a robot will take your job. That's not new. Right? The next thing is, you learn like a robot at school, you will never have a job. Because, if you learn like a robot, that means you're downloading information. The robot has easily beat you because it's limitless information, not like our puny little brain. Right? I mean, our brain is amazing, but in 10 years it's beat, in terms of computing. So if you work like a robot will take your job. That reminds me a little bit of the movie Her. Who has seen the movie Her? It's a great movie. You got to see it. And that's a little bit hard to see maybe somewhere, but Joaquin Phoenix, he falls in love with the operating system. It's Scarlett Johansson inside the computer. No wonder, right? So falls in love with her, and at the end, he's totally desperate because she is in love at the same time with him with 3,563 other people that also use the computer. Right? So this is a great movie, great example. In the end, what really matters for us is this. Right? Emotions, creativity, ethics, empathy, consciousness, compassion. It's a huge list. None of these things an AI will understand. None of these things I want the AI to understand. I want the AI to stay away from these things. I want a machine to get the job done, to fix my car, fly the airplane, pour the cement, do all that monkey work. Right? I don't want the machine to beat me in compassion. I mean, what a strange mission. Right? So, as we look at education in the future, we have to focus on what makes us human, what the robots can't do. That's the future of education and of work. And it also means, sooner or later, maybe we just work 3 days a week, 5 hours a day, for the same money. Because we have the robots doing all the monkey work. What we do not want is productivity going up like this because of AI. That's what's going to happen. Steep increase in productivity. but our work and our money goes down. Right? That is a bad situation. That's what we have right now. And the way to fix that is with the right policy. To say, okay, maybe if everything is so smart, maybe I work less for the same money because the money is there. Right? Very important thing, let's not use technology to once again make sure that more money is being made and kept in one single place. The people who own the system, right? Like Facebook and others. So moving to that future, the good future, digital Bolashak, right? Let's find a way forward to embrace technology, but not become it. That's what work is about, that's what education is about, that's what a successful country is all about. Right? Not to become technology, but to use it, to embrace it, and to stay human. Thanks very much for listening.
Thank you so much, dear Gerd Leonhard, and thank you for your beautiful speech. And I would like to say that we still have some time to answer a few questions from the audience.
Okay.
Дорогие друзья, если у вас есть вопросы, просим вас поднять руку, и к вам подойдут с микрофоном. У нас буквально несколько минут, чтобы задать вопросы и получить ответ от нашего спикера. Пожалуйста.
I only have 5 minutes.
Okay. Let me first then ask you a question. With the rapid advancement of AI, and there is a growing concern about the potential job displacement. How can businesses and societies adapt to ensure a balance between benefits of automation and at the same time the prevention of employment opportunity, preservation of employment opportunities? Thank you.
Yes, I think we need to have a balanced approach to this. You know, for example, if we look at Amazon, Amazon is the master of automation, right, as you know, using robots everywhere. But Amazon hired 285,000 people last year. And where were those? Well, to run the robots, to run customer service, to make new jobs. Will Amazon keep hiring? Probably not, because they keep getting better. Right? So we need a policy that says if you're going to have less people because a telecom company can automate, then you have to create jobs somewhere else. Or you have to retrain, or you have to pay a robot tax. Right? And then we have to have people who are ready to take new jobs, who have the skills. Right? Basically, the jobs of the future don't exist. There's been a great research by Dell saying that 70% of all new jobs in 2030 don't even exist today. What does that mean for education? That means we have to be educated to do whatever it takes. Right? So 10 years ago, there was almost no work in social media. We didn't know what social media was, maybe 12 years ago. Okay? Today, 21 million people work in social media. And what do? They make up their own job. You don't go to social media school. I mean, now you can go to social media school. But basically, you make your own job. And that's going to be our kids and ourselves. We have to figure out how to create new jobs and work as we're going into new possibilities. And training will be lifelong. This is why lifelong training is so important in universities, colleges, online and offline. Right? But let's keep in mind when we talk about online education, real learning is between people. We can do many things online, that's very good, it's a very good start, but we actually learn with other people much faster and deeper. So it's very important to combine the two.
Thank you so much. If we have another question from the audience, yeah, please. Можно, пожалуйста, микрофон? Да, буквально один вопрос у нас. Время
right here in the front. Right here.
Does it work? Секундочку. Технические.
Okay, sorry, I can only take one more question because, you know, I have to move my body to the airplane.
Thank you, Mr. Leonhard, for your amazing speech. I have a question. How do we teach our future generations, how do we teach our students, high school students, college students, to do innovations, research, projects, startups that will carry the future, in your opinion?
Quoting Peter Drucker, he said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I always say, culture eats technology for breakfast. The reason that people will learn and study and do new things is because of culture. So we allow them to fail, we allow them to try things, we allow women and minorities to take leadership positions, and then everything grows, right? the cultures where we have this openness towards growth, they are the most successful ones. And I think this is going to be important when we talk about retraining, because like I said, it's not that people don't have creativity, it's just that we taught them that it's useless, they just need to function. So basically, if you're looking to just function in your job, there won't be many jobs left. You have to now learn how to be creative, how to be resilient, to be agile. And this is what COVID taught us. COVID taught us basically whatever was before and stopped working is gone. And now we have to be agile. We have to make things up. And I think the motivation to do that is a society that accepts failure, that respects that you can try things and do new things and give you a chance. We had a great dinner last night with people from the event, and I'm very impressed how Kazakhstan is making the move towards that more open society. And I think that's the key to the future. Because again, it's not about technology. Culture eats technology for breakfast. Keep that in mind. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these 2 days at Nobel Festival. And we hope to see you, Mr. Leonhard. We hope to see you at the next Nobel Festival. Thank you so much. Дорогие друзья, давайте поддержим аплодисментами нашего уважаемого спикера.